Alrighty, so I'm Kyra from Heavy Mag here today with none other than Chris Cheney from The Living End. Chris, how are you today?
Howdy, I'm doing good, thank you. Nice to
Good.
be here.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me. Now, The Living End are doing the Mundi Mundi Bash, which is coming up on the 15th to the 17th in Broken Hill, with a couple of your good mates, like so Baby Animals, Ian Moss, you got Jon Stevens, to name a few. Do you have any
Yeah.
surprises for the sold out show?
Oh, there won't be surprises if I say what they are now. No, I mean, we haven't been doing that many shows recently, so it's just nice to be doing a gig. And, it's like the music industry is just kind of, it's in a weird place. We all sort of know that at the moment. And we haven't been doing as many shows as we probably would have liked. We've got a new album in the can, so we're kind of waiting till that's done before we can do national tours and stuff. So this is really nice to be doing this. And, maybe we'll pull out a couple of new songs and get the crowd gauge on it, whether it's a winner or binner, we'll see. And it's nice to be playing with all those people that you mentioned. It's funny when it's like they're our mates, but like they were all the bands that were massive when I was growing up, but we have sort of become friends with them now because we've done so many shows with them over the last few years. But I never thought I'd ever see the day where it'd be The Living End and the Baby Animals and Jon Stevens in the same sentence. We were a world away from that, and we love them and they're really cool. But you just can't imagine that you're going to be on the same kind of bill as those guys when you start out playing that, the front bar of the Espy.
Yeah, too true. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'd pinch myself every time. It's like, yeah, they're your mates now, and you featured on Barnsley's song. Like that's just got to blow your mind.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing, like getting to know someone like Jimmy and becoming mates with him, and then writing a song for him that he records, doing the Barnstormers thing with him and Jules Holland and Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats. And there's been a lot of those pinch yourself sort of moments over the years. And it's not something that you can ever imagine, like when you're 14, like I was, sitting on the edge of my bed, playing along to those people's records. It's not even in your universe that you think you're going to play in a band with them one day, but it's super cool. And what's super cool about it is that they're all really nice guys. They say never meet your heroes, but I've been lucky enough so far that pretty much everyone I've met has been a sweetheart.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And would you say this Mundi Mundi Bash is kind of like your bread and butter, like your kind of festival to play? That real Aussie scene, everyone with the camp chairs, kind of like Red Hot Summer, but a 3-day event.
Yeah. That's the other weird thing about it is that when we first started out playing, like in high school and stuff, that was a world away from us. That sort of audience, that kind of Oz rock audience, that we're listening to. Back then, we would get heckled basically because we were playing like 50s music, and we would get people yelling out, play some Chisel, play some Aussie Crawl, play some Icehouse, whatever, the big top 40 kind of hits. So we always sort of thought maybe we could become successful in the alternative scene, but we didn't think that we would cross over into the sort of commercial scene, I suppose, and get played on the radio. So to be playing to those sorts of crowds now blows our mind, but it is that's our sort of that's our home ground, I suppose. Now we seem to have crossed over, and we've become one of these bands who has these anthems and things that people come along and they've become staples, and it's become The Living End's like a household name, which is just blows my mind still. But in answer to your question, yes, that is very much our sort of crowd, and it's great to have not just one or two songs, but a whole set full of songs that people sing along to now. And it's the most amazing thing for us to have that.
Yeah, no, you guys have really hit that status. Like you guys are Aussie icons, like for Australia, you're massive and everyone knows them. Like, you'd be hard pressed to go to a pub and not hear a Living End song, Yeah. But
yeah, that's so cool. Because it used to just be like, originally when Prisoner hit like 25 years ago or something, it was like, well, that was nice having a kind of hit single. You don't think it's going to last. So we just feel so blessed to be here now and to be, on the cusp of releasing album number 9. But we've had songs from each record that people recognize. So that's really cool, because we always wanted to be a song band. We didn't just want to, we knew we had a gimmick with the double bass and with the way that we looked and our background, and we knew that we stood out, but that just often means that you come and go as quickly as that. So to get sort of staying power and to have a career, I suppose, was really important to us. So we always focused on writing songs. There had to be a song there before anything else. So I think that's what's enabled us to kind of stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can sit there for hours going through that and going, holy fuck, that's off that album. Holy shit, that was them too. Like, you guys really have kicked ass like continuously for years. So yeah, that's a good thing to be able to do.
Been around the block a few times, I guess. Yes, which you can think of it two ways. It's easy at this age to kind of go, oh man, where did all the years go? But at the same time, I feel really blessed that we are still around, for a start.
Yeah.
B, that we were around during such a golden period in Australian music. To come along when we could go and play on Recovery on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning, whatever it was, and then we'd be playing the big day out, touring that. Getting a song on like High Rotation on Triple J, and all these really exciting things that were happening. And I mean, they still happen now, but it's a different kind of scene. The industry's changed. You used to sell records for a start. That's almost impossible to do these days. People would be excited about the record, and you do in stores, and quite nice to sort of think, well, yeah, we're not the newest band on the block, but I still think one thing about us is that there's a lot of fire still in when we play. There's a lot of fuel left in the tank, and when that starts to run low, I think I'll probably call it at that point, because we need to be an energetic, vibrant kind of band. If it starts to sound tired and old, that's when that'll be the end of the band. I'm sure of it. But at the moment, the new record's probably the most aggressive sounding thing we've done in years, so I'm pumped.
All right.
Yeah,
that's even better. Well, that's surprising that you said that, because I pictured you guys as a no, we're going to be doing this till we fucking drop dead. I'd be very surprised if you did. Like, maybe not with the living end forever, but I can't see you guys not ever playing music.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone can. I think there's a lot of bands out there who have just continued on, and it becomes embarrassing. I mean. I mean, I know it's very difficult. It's easy for me to say that, and it's very difficult for them to pull the plug. But I always admire like the Police and the Jam, like these kind of. I mean, the Police have done reformation shows, but a band like the Jam, who were one of my musical heroes, this English band from the late '70s, they got to 21 or something, and Paul Weller just went, right, that's it. The Jam are always going to be like a band for the kids. Played by pretty much kids themselves at that point. We'll never become that tired old dinosaur rock act. And he just pulled the pin, and they've never ever done a single show. So, and it's kind of like, I kind of admire that, but as a fan, I'd love to see them play. But seeing them play wouldn't be like seeing them back in 1978 or something. So I don't know. We'll see. I said that I'd never be playing Prisoner of Society at the age of 30, and so that didn't last very long. So
Having said that, what is that song that you guys go out on stage and you've got to play that song, or you're pretty much going to get fucking egged off stage? Like, what is that song? Is it Prisoner of Society?
Yeah, well, it used to be Prisoner. Yeah, that was always kind of what people knew when they thought of the Living End, and they go, oh yeah, okay, it's that band. But White Noise almost sort of eclipsed that, which was really great. Because we didn't want to be known as just that sort of one-hit wonder band. So that's almost more, it gets a bigger reaction almost at our shows than what Prisoner does now, which is really nice. Cool. But then again, songs like All Torn Down, like that's like, as far as streaming and stuff, is a huge song. And that was just kind of like I just thought of it as an album track at the time. Probably, if we didn't play Prisoner, we'd probably have people yelling out for it, I suppose. But I kind of think, man, you've heard it for 25 years. You don't need to hear it again. We'll play some different. Yeah, but for Mundi Mundi, we'll read the crowd, and we'll we'll see how we go. It's always a highlight of the set still, you know. It's like, so it's, people always go, "Oh, don't you get sick of playing?" And it's like, well, no, because it's never dull, ever.
Yeah, awesome. That's amazing. This one's probably basically a you question. You're a really creative person, so you do your writing, producing music, you do painting, you do all sorts of that. How do you like keep yourself satisfied and nurture all your creative hats?
Yeah, by doing those different things. I kind of haven't done any painting for a while. I've got all my stuff set up in this garage. I've got like a little studio set up here, as you can see over there. Then I've got like painting stuff over here, and at the back I've got a bar, and then I've got like a record thing over there. So I've got sort of the four corners of my world in this garage. But I haven't done painting for a while. But what I was finding that when I was during lockdown really is when it started, when we couldn't do shows, I started painting a lot. And if I didn't paint during the day, I kind of got to the end of the day and didn't feel sort of satisfied. It's like people with fitness, you know, if you don't go for a run, you're just not quite right in the head for the rest of the day. And that's how I was feeling about the painting. And I'm generally sitting here every day kind of writing songs. I don't know what I'm even going to use them for, maybe for other people or for the next solo record. So yeah, I've always got to sort of keep moving, I suppose, and keep creating something. It's just I feel a bit flat if I sort of finish a day and I haven't created anything, which it's okay to do that, but you know, kind of I sort of have to force myself sometimes to do it, even if it's a shit song. At the end of the day, it's like, well, at least I wrote something today, and you get through that, and then the next day write something better.
That's it. Appease the brain for the day. Yep. So if you could go back to before your debut album and you're just putting away, playing music with Scott, nothing's popped off yet, what's an album or a band that you wish you could give to your younger self and go, check this shit out, this is going to change your life?
What do you mean, like a band that exists now that,
or even one that you wish that you found earlier in your life, like going, fuck, if I heard this like 10, 20 years ago, this would have just changed rocked my world?
Yeah, who was I thinking? I was thinking about someone the other day that oh, well, Cold Chisel, like we were talking about them earlier. I was saying to my daughter the other day, because we were driving home from school and Flame Trees came on the radio, and you know, she was saying, "Oh, it's Jimmy." Like she just knows him as kind of like Uncle Jimmy, you know.
Unreal.
It's kind of, yeah, Grandpa Jimmy, just through sort of more of a family friendship than anything else. I mean, she's seen him on stage, the Red Hot Summer gigs and things like that. But you know, I was sort of saying to her, yeah, well, you know, Jimmy was a different character back then. He was an absolute wild man. You know, and she was asking about different songs. And I said, look, to be honest with you, I never liked them. When I was a kid and when I first started playing guitar, I was into like Bon Jovi and Eddie Van Halen and you know, the guitar shredders and then the 50s thing came along. So again, like that Oz rock thing, I just completely dismissed it. I didn't have any appreciation for it at all. But you know, maybe 25 or something like after our first record came out, and you know, it wasn't until quite later in my life that I started hearing different songs of Chisel and going, oh man, they're really good. Like their ballads and their harmonies, and hearing all the different writers in the band and hearing the passion and the heart behind it. I was like, how did I dismiss this? And the reason is because it was just everyman music. It was just, it was seen as kind of Aussie bogan rock, same as AC/DC. But I loved them. But that would be a band that I'd probably go back and say, okay, you know, listen to these guys and understand the diversity in what they do, because at the heart of Chisel, they're just an almighty rock and roll band. Yeah,
quite literally. And you'll have to, hats off. I mean, you're going to see Ian Moss at this next Mundi Mundi Bash as well, and like, he's just a genius, and I feel like he's so underrated. It's like not enough people, I don't know, talk about him or give him the praises from back in those days as well.
Yeah, no, he's just an absolutely master guitar player, and you know, and obviously a beautiful singer, great songwriter. But he's yeah, I mean, anyone who plays guitar, I mean, knows that he's just the best. You know, it's like he's truly, it's like an extension of himself. He's one of those guys that just plays so effortlessly that I'll just stand there on the side of stage and just shake my head, because and he always takes chances too. That's the thing I like about Ian's playing. You hear what he's done on his records and stuff, but you see him live and he switches it all up, and you can see him, like, you know, it's like he's thinking on the spot and he's going for stuff that he hasn't rehearsed it. You know, he's just a master of the fretboard, and it's like he just goes wherever he wants to go. And that's so inspiring as a musician, to not just be kind of going through the motions and playing the same thing that you played the last 300 nights of the tour. Because we've always tried to do that too. We just go off on a tangent sometimes, and it can be an absolute train wreck. But when it's not, you know, that becomes the special moment of the show where people are kind of, it's like a thriller. You know, they're gripping on, going, oh, is it going to fall apart, or is it going to be amazing? And sometimes, nah, fuck it fell apart. That's okay.
Yeah. But that's also like a sign of people who love what they're doing. And true musos, like, you have bands these days that can't even play an instrument, you know, and they can release full albums and just produce it on a computer. Yeah. Whether seeing that in real life, to me, is like, inspiring. Yeah.
Well, it depends what you're into. Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely room for both. I think, you know, I mean, the Ramones couldn't play and the Pistols couldn't play very good, but thank God for them, you know. Because, there's so many great players out there who just put me to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't stand people that are just so introverted in their playing. But hey, that's what they want to do. That's cool. Yeah. But for me, you gotta find that balance, and I think that's what the best rock and roll bands are, the ones that can keep it simple when they need to, but can also blow your mind with their, you know, with their chops.
Yeah, you guys, case in point. Hello.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you know, sometimes we're guilty of disappearing up our own, you know what, but again, that's all right, as long as you find that balance. You know, we've had moments where we're just kind of like have real fusion, kind of odd time signature kind of things, and I don't know why we do that, because it's the last kind of music that I really listen to. You know, I mean, I studied guitar after high school, and there were a lot of the other guitar players that I studied with were like into Alan Holdsworth and all these guys who played this incredible stuff. But again, it just puts you to sleep. You know, it's like it's so mathematical that it's like, no, just give me an Otis Redding record. But sometimes on stage, you kind of go into these crazy jams where we just try and out clever each other. And again, so
we're all flying away looking at each other like, hey, are we doing this?
Yeah, there is quite. You'll see any photos of the band when we're all up at Andy's drum kit, and Scott and I sort of move up towards him. I always see photos of that, and some of the faces we're pulling is extraordinary. Because it's like concentration, and we've got this telepathic kind of language going on where it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. What's he doing? And we're just following each other until one of us like makes the call, and then you kind of break out the song, and those are the best bits. It's easy to do that in a 3-piece.
Yeah. And you guys have been playing together for so long. It wouldn't be like telepathic, like literally, like just we're on, let's go. Let's fucking ride.
It kind of is.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time. That was awesome. You just made my day. That was a great chat.
No worries. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to the gig.
Yeah,
it's the next show we have. So you know, we're getting primed, and we're gonna
primed and ready. And it's sold out too, so you know it's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome.